Somewhere south of Orel, inside a damp earthen bunker lit by a single flickering bulb, Feldwebel Hans Weidemann, 23 years old, driver of Panther number 432, wipes condensation from the periscope glass and whispers to no one in particular, "It's too quiet." Outside, the warm summer night is heavy with the smell of pine resin, diesel fumes, and fresh-turned earth. Millions of crickets scream in the tall wheat. But every German soldier within 20 kilometers knows what the silence really means. The Red Army is listening. 10 kilometers east, in a forward trench near Ponieri Station, Lieutenant Pyotr Demidov of the 307th Rifle Division presses his ear to the ground. He hears it, a low metallic heartbeat growing louder every minute. Tracks, hundreds of them. He lights a cigarette with shaking fingers, takes one drag, then crushes it out. No smoking tonight. The glow can kill you from 2 kilometers away. At 047, the first flare rockets burst overhead, green, ghostly, hanging in the black sky like dying stars. For 30 endless seconds, the entire Kursk salient is lit daylight bright. Both sides see each other for the first time. Endless rows of Panther and Tiger turrets emerging from the mist like prehistoric beasts. And on the far ridge, the endless black ants of Soviet infantry crouched behind anti-tank ditches 8 layers deep. In that frozen moment, every man understands tomorrow the earth itself will burn. At 0300, the waiting ends. German artillery opens in a roar that feels like the sky ripping open. 10,000 guns, rockets, and Nebelwerfers fire at once. The horizon turns white, then orange, then blood red. Shells fall so thick that the ground jumps 3 feet into the air and never quite comes back down. Men don't hear the explosions. They feel them in their chest cavities, their teeth, their testicles. And somewhere in the middle of that man-made earthquake, a lone Soviet soldier, nobody will ever know his name, stands up on the parapet, raises a red flag and screams into the inferno, "Za Rodinu," for the motherland. The flag is shredded by shrapnel in seconds. The man is gone in less than a heartbeat. But 2 million soldiers on both sides hear that scream carried on the shockwave, and they know there is no turning back now.
Dawn hasn't broken yet, but the eastern sky is already glowing from burning villages. Major Meinrad von Laukert, commander of Panzerregiment 39, stands in the cupola of the lead Panther, call sign R01. His brand new D-model tank still smells of factory paint and cosmoline. 200 Panthers behind him roll forward in perfect parade formation, turrets at 12 o'clock, spaced exactly 50 meters apart. The crews are singing under their breath, "Panzer rollen in Afrika vor." They believe the propaganda films. They believe the Panther is invincible. Then the first mine detonates. A 45-ton Panther leaps into the air like a startled cat, turret blown sideways, belly ripped open. Screams on the radio net. Within 90 seconds, another 6 tanks are crippled, tracks shredded, fuel tanks burning. The perfect parade collapses into chaos. At 0510, the surviving Panthers reach the first Soviet outpost line near Cherkaskoye. They expect scattered resistance. Instead, every bush, every haystack, every shallow dip in the ground erupts with 76mm Ziz-3 guns firing at point-blank range. Shells ricochet off the Panther's sloped glacis plates with a sound like cathedral bells struck by sledgehammers. But the turrets traverse too slowly. The brand new final drives overheat and seize. Half the regiment is immobile before they fire their 10th shot. You can almost smell the panic through the radio static. Meanwhile, in the northern shoulder, the monstrous Ferdinand tank destroyers of Schwer Panzerjäger Regiment 656 lumber forward. 90 of them, 65 tons each, 200mm frontal armor, 88mm guns that can kill anything at 3 kilometers. They smash through the first 2 defensive belts as if they don't exist. Soviet gunners empty entire ammunition crates and barely scratch the paint. For one terrifying hour, it looks like nothing can stop them. Then the Russians do something no German staff officer predicted. From concealed ravines, T-34s suddenly charge straight at the Ferdinands at 50 kilometers per hour, closing to 200 meters, 100 meters, 50 meters, before the slow German turrets can traverse. The Ferdinands have no machine guns. Soviet infantry sprint alongside the T-34s, leap onto the engine decks, jam grenades into air vents, pry open hatches. One by one, the steel monsters die from the inside out, crews cooked alive or torn apart by hand. By noon on the first day, the German spearheads have advanced barely 8 kilometers in places, nowhere near the planned 25. The wheat fields are already black with burning tanks. The summer air is thick with the sweet rot smell of blood and sunflower oil from ruptured fuel tanks. And somewhere near Butyrki, a Lone Panther commander, Lieutenant Heinrich Kohler, keys his microphone with a trembling voice and reports the sentence that will haunt OKH for the rest of the war. Herr Major, the Russians, they were waiting for us. They knew exactly where we would come.
July 6th, 9 a.m. Poneri Railway Station. A nothing village on the map. A graveyard in the making. Oberstleutnant Franz Beck, commander of Panzerregiment 11, 6th Panzer Division, peers through binoculars from a knocked-out T-34 hull. What he sees makes his stomach drop. The entire village is one continuous fortress. Every brick house loopholed, every cellar an ammunition dump, every haystack a machine gun nest. The Soviets have turned 8 square kilometers of farmland into a meat grinder built to order. The Germans nickname it Little Stalingrad within hours. Wave after wave of tigers and panthers surge forward, trying to crack the northern shoulder. Each time they reach the outskirts, hidden 85mm anti-aircraft guns drop their barrels to horizontal and fire over open sights. A single battery near Hill 253.5 knocks out 12 tigers in 40 minutes. The commander of one tiger, Oberfeldwebel Kurt Nispel, already 28 tanks on his kill ring, watches his own shot ricochet harmlessly off a T-34 dug in, hull down behind a railway embankment. He keys the mic. They're sitting in the ground like ticks. We can't dig them out. Night falls, but the fighting doesn't stop. Searchlights bounce off the clouds to create artificial daylight. Soviet assault engineers crawl forward with satchel charges and Molotovs. German pioneers counter with flamethrowers. The temperature inside the village reaches furnace heat. Men fight in rivers of their own sweat and other people's blood. By the third day, the 292nd Infantry Division has lost so many officers that company commanders are 19-year-old lieutenants fresh from cadet school. One of them, Lieutenant Gunter Odom, writes in his diary found decades later, "We no longer advance. We only feed the fire. Every meter costs a platoon." On 8 July, the Germans finally seize Poneri Station itself. only to discover the Soviets have withdrawn to a second, even stronger line, 1 kilometer back. The station burning behind them, Bake gathers the survivors of his regiment. 43 tanks left from 120. He lights a cigarette with hands that won't stop shaking and says the sentence no one wants to hear. Gentlemen, this is only the beginning. Far to the south, Model's 9th Army has gained 12 kilometers in 6 days at the price of 30,000 men and 300 tanks. In Berlin, Hitler still believes the northern pincer can break through. He has no idea that every extra day the Germans spend bleeding at Poneri is another day Zhukov has to prepare the real killing ground farther south. And 200 kilometers away, in a small wooden church converted into a field hospital, a Soviet nurse named Yelena writes a letter she will never send. Today we carried out 400 wounded before lunch. The floor is so slippery with blood, we have to spread sawdust like in a butcher's shop. But the men still smile when we give them water. They say, "Don't cry, sister. We are holding them. We are holding them." She closes the letter with a single line. "Tell Mother the sunflowers are taller than ever this year."
The sun rises blood red through smoke so thick it feels solid. SS Oberfuhrer Theodor Wisch, commander of the Leibstandarte Adolf Hitler, stands on the turret of his command panther, staring south across the gentle slope toward the Prokhorovka collective farm. In front of him, 242 tanks and assault guns of the 2nd SS Panzer Corps in perfect arrowhead formation. Behind them, the last strategic reserve Hitler has on the entire Eastern Front. 4 kilometers away, hidden in orchards and gullies, Lieutenant General Pavel Rotmistrov's 5th Guards Tank Army, 850 tanks and self-propelled guns, begins to move. T-34s, T-70 light tanks, a handful of brand new Su-152 Beast Killers. Rotmistrov's orders are simple and suicidal. Attack at maximum speed. Close the distance. Ram if you have to. Stop the fascists at any price. 0825. The first T-34s crest the ridge at 50 kilometers per hour. Engines screaming. Dust clouds boiling hundreds of feet high. From the German side, it looks like the entire horizon is moving. 0831. The SS open fire. Long 75mm guns on Panthers and Tigers reach out to 2,000 meters. The first rank of T-34s simply disappears in orange fireballs. But the second rank keeps coming, then the third, then the fourth. 0840. Distance collapses to 800 meters, 500, 300. Now the shorter Soviet 76mm guns can reply. Now the German turret traverse can't keep up. Now the battlefield becomes a single roaring cauldron, stretching 8 kilometers wide and 5 deep. You are inside a T-34 commanded by Senior Lieutenant Vitaly Popov. The air is 60 degrees Celsius. Cordite, sweat, piss, burnt rubber. The gunner screams, "Loaded!" You slam the throttle. A Tiger fills the entire gun sight. You fire at 150 meters. The shell ricochets off the mantle like a sound of God's hammer. The Tiger's coaxial machine gun stitches your turret. Your loader's head vaporizes. You don't even have time to scream before another T-34 rams you from behind, pushing your burning tank forward like a battering ram into the Tiger's side. Everywhere, the same madness. Tanks collide head-on and lock together. Crews fighting with pistols through open hatches. Panthers reverse over their own burning comrades trying to escape the swarm. A single SS Rottenführer, Michael Wittmann, in Titer 007, will claim 30 kills this day alone, driving in circles through the chaos like a wolf among sheep. But even he is one man. The sheep are endless. By noon, the gentle valley is unrecognizable. Over 700 tanks lie dead or dying. Turret baskets blown 50 meters away. Corpses welded to molten armor. The ground is so littered with wreckage that late arriving tanks have to climb over the burning hulks of earlier waves. At 1300, Rotmistrov radios Stavka with a voice hoarse from smoke. The enemy attack is halted. The corridor is closed. Price unacceptable. At 1430, Hauser, commander of the 2nd SS Panzer Corps, orders the retreat. Not a rout, a disciplined withdrawal under fire, but a retreat all the same. The southern pincer of Operation Citadel has been broken on the corpse field of Prokhorovka. When the sun finally sets, the battlefield is still burning so brightly that shadows are cast for kilometers. Survivors on both sides crawl from hatches blistered blind, lips cracked, unable to speak. The smell, burnt flesh, sunflower oil, scorched wheat, will linger in nostrils for the rest of their lives. One German medical orderly, moving among the wrecks with a lantern, finds a Soviet tankard still alive inside a full day later, pinned inside his T-34, singing quietly to himself. The song is Katyusha. Prokhorovka is over. The Wehrmacht's last offensive in the east is over. The road to Berlin has just been paved with steel and bone.